Okay, so this is episode 2. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, wait, take my glasses off. I don't want to look like you.
Remove the remote, though.
Yeah.
It's not in the picture, but...
All right, here we go.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Doug.
And I'm Pete.
And this is episode 2. You know, we are excited to be here with you today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the element of story.
Yes, because last week, or last episode anyway, we talked a bit about film and how film is such an incredible medium. Mm-hmm. And it's really all about story, really. Yeah. You know, the other day I saw this movie and it was incredible as far as all the effects and all that and the stunts and whatnot. But man, there was no story. And after a while, you got bored of it. You
take away the story element and you leave all the special effects, you leave all the sound effects, you leave all the music, but you take away the story, you take away the movie.
That's right. It didn't work.
Yeah.
So story is really important. So if you think about it, as believers in Christ, when Jesus communicated, what did he do, Doug?
Everything was in stories. We call them parables, but essentially it's stories. It's like it's innately built in us to recognize messages and themes and lessons for life within the context of a story.
What's your favorite parable story?
I mean, the one that is just classically known and always comes to my mind when I think about relationships between me and other people is the Good Samaritan. You know, you see the religious leaders that were snobby and stuck up and thought they were so righteous, and there's somebody who is a Samaritan who was known as kind of an outcast of the Jewish society. Exactly. Guy, and they would walk past him. He was beaten up and bloody on the ground. They'd walk past him. Everybody knows that story. And then the one guy that does stop by,
the half-breed,
is a Samaritan, and he exemplifies love beyond what these religious leaders ever did. And so that's a huge lesson that I took away from that. I know the rest of the world has.
Yeah, no, that's a great parable. So story in films is really important. You know, one thing that we find as you bring it all down to the basic story is all about transformation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize that. But it's about transformation. It's about seeing one character, the main character, we call him the protagonist, and his journey of growing and this character arc and that type of thing. And so we want to so badly see that character transform into something, to become completely alive. Maybe that person's coming from a dead point of view, and now he's totally alive by the time he gets to the end of the movies.
Right.
Or it could be someone who makes bad decisions and becomes completely dead or living dead, and that's a cautionary tale. That's you watch
Don't
this
be
person,
like this guy.
Yeah, you're watching in horror, like, oh my gosh, he's making the wrong decision again. I'm not talking about you, but in the story, you see these guys make terrible decisions, and then it's a cautionary tale for us.
Yeah.
So in films, those are the ones that seem to do the best. When you watch somebody go from darkness to light.
And when you see that transformation within a character, that's something that in real life you don't normally see in a 2-hour time span. You normally see it over a lifetime. So there's something that's so satisfying and gratifying about seeing that transformation of the character. Yeah. And it takes place within the context of conflict, right? You can't have a story without something going wrong, without some kind of malfunction in whatever's happening, and that's what causes the transformation of the character.
And don't we all love conflict in our life?
Oh gosh, we say we don't.
Yeah, but we hate it. But here's the thing. Conflict is a reality. It's something that we all have to deal with, and it's something. It's the only way that most of us know how to learn, how to grow, and we go through conflict. So so in films like I forgot how many are being made this every year, but the ones that really stick out are the ones that tell that story of transformation.
Yeah,
it's all about that, and we know that in that film industry we realize that's exactly what needs to be written.
Right.
And when you think about it in a Christian point of view, man, we have so many stories as believers of transformation, because that's what a believer is. If you think about it, all of us have been transformed, have become born again, have gone through this change in our life. And that's why it's really important, I think, that we need to do more of that, to tell the story of people that go through transformation.
It's so true, because I feel like when God transformed my life, just from a personal perspective, it was like being in a sci-fi movie, and I think every believer can attest to that in some way, shape, or form, that it's just this, I feel like you're in the Matrix, you're waking up and you took the blue pill and you went down the rabbit hole and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm really alive. I remember I got a pair of glasses, my first pair of glasses, right after God changed my life. And so it was a spiritual changing, and then the physical also. I could see things clearly for the first time. I mean, I could see before, but the details in the leaves on the trees, I'll never forget being on the moped being like, it's so green. Wow. And I was just enthralled, and I love that God intertwined the two for me, the spiritual and the physical change at the same time. Yeah.
So I'm new to Call TV, but I know that you've been out chasing stories, like with Call on the Street.
Yeah.
And you guys did one on me, which was awesome. But describe for us what that is. Why do you guys do Call on the Street?
Well, our Call on the Street originally started to highlight individuals that were making a difference in their community for Christ. And as a result, you hear their backstory. You hear how they got to where they are, and the transformational story is right in there. And then you go from there to what they're doing now. And some of the stories that have really stood out to me, all of them really have, but like Dino, for example, he came from he was in the window washing episode, and he came from a past of substance abuse and violence and all kind of stuff. God transformed his life, and then he was sharing that grace that he had received with those around him to hire people out of prison, to give them an opportunity, to give people a second chance. And
that's a really great story, and I loved it. And what you're saying is great, but I have to admit to you, the best part of it is watching you go off the side of that building. I thought, oh, this is great. He's going to fall.
Oh, my gosh. I cannot express to you, like, the sheer horror of that moment. I mean, we were excited about it. This is so cool. It's going to be exciting.
How many stories up were you?
It was, I believe it was 30 stories, that building was. And I remember being up on the top of that thing and looking down for the first time. And I remember Malala, he was like, we got to get Doug's view. When he first looks over the view, it's going to be the first time we look over the edge. And man, it went from like this cool, fun, exciting thing to, what was I thinking? And I say that in the video, and you think it's funny when you see it, but I was freaking out. I was freaking out. And as I'm going down, because you control your descent with the rope. Yeah. As I'm going down, I really had to focus on not passing out because I couldn't control my breathing. I was just like, breathe normal. And these guys do it every day. Yeah. But yeah, that was what a blast.
That's great.
Yeah.
That was then, but what about now? What about this coming year? What do you got planned? Do you have any ideas of what you want to do? Or?
Oh my gosh. We've been getting all kinds of new equipment coming in and different people coming in like you, bringing a whole new perspective, a whole new vibe, and it's this explosion of creativity and fun stuff. And I would love to be able to capture a story, like a transformational story. That's been my heart from day one, was to capture the born again experience on film. Yeah. And some films out there have done that. To Save a Life, that's a movie that did that, and I think they did a really good job of it. But I'd like to do it in a little bit more of a raw way. I really desire to make movies that, like we were talking about, like with Fury, that have the Christ themes of it, but are not aimed towards a Christian audience. Right. Because I want it to be an evangelistic tool to reach out to the world. So having the elements,
something that is naturally evangelistic, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you read the stories in the Bible, if you were to put them into film as raw as they are, it would be R-rated all day, full of violence, full of sex, full of everything. The movies that they're making today, that they're trying to be sensual or trying to be captivating with their effects or with their content, the grungy nastiness of it, the Bible blows them all away. You know what I mean? You hear the story about the guy who goes in this lady's tent. He's the bad king, and he doesn't know that she's not on his side. And she woos him to sleep. He's sleeping now. She takes a tent peg, and she hammers it through his skull into the ground.
Gives him milk first.
Right, yes, exactly.
Milk and go
exactly.
Hold on, where's that tent?
Could you imagine that scene in a movie? I mean, that's just like...
You're weird. I need to calm down.
It gets me so excited because people don't know that these stories exist. People think...
JL is her name. She's a real character.
Yes, exactly.
She's awesome.
And people don't know these stories exist. They think of the Bible as being this just fluffy fairy tale, can't understand it, and
Yeah.
if people knew the depths of the coolness and the beauty of it, they wouldn't be able to turn away.
Yep. So I just want to say, when you do something like that, we need a lot of people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so maybe there's people that are watching this and saying, hey, I would love to be involved with something like that. And,
Right.
and that's something that we could possibly do. Get a group of people together and let's be a collaborative. We just launched this thing called Kalo Creative Collective. And the idea behind that is to get those who have the same spirit, same heart,
Right.
and would like to see things like that done, and get us together in one room and get educated a bit if we need training, learn from those that are doing it right now. There's some great people right here on this island that are doing and producing great stuff.
So true.
And hear from them, but also not be afraid to go out and do it. The thing is today, and I think in the next episode we're going to do this, we're going to talk more technical stuff. But in our world today, it is actually easier to create incredible cinematic stuff. I mean, I saw recently, well, maybe a year ago now, hey, anybody want to make a movie using your iPhone? And I used to laugh at that and go, yeah, right. But you know what? You can these days. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be smart about it.
Right.
You'll be limited, but it can be done.
Right.
And that's the point. The thing is, either you're going to dream about it, like, oh, well, one day when I get a really good camera, and you're going to keep dreaming about it, because all they are tools, Doug.
That's good.
You can
That's
use
so
your
good.
hand and you can farm.
Yep, that's good.
If you have a shovel, or better yet, if you have a, what do you call those big things? You're a farmer guy.
Oh yeah, backhoe.
A backhoe.
Tractor.
You can do a lot more,
Yeah.
sure. But it doesn't mean you need a backhoe to do
Yeah.
it. So
That's
it's the same
so
thing
good.
with making film, right? So, hey, if there's anybody watching this and they would like to be part of this creative collective, let us know.
Yeah.
The information down below, and let's see what happens. Let's see if we can do more of this. Now, but you answered that question. Really, that's not what I was trying to ask. I was trying to ask you, what's next for Kalo on the street? Is there anything that you're planning on?
That's a great question. There are preliminary talks about a ukulele maker. Am I saying that word right?
I think it's ukulele.
And they're a group that's been making them forever, and the impact they've had on their community for Christ, and making one of the most influential instruments on this island. I want to say also, to your point about if you're always dreaming someday when I have the right equipment, I'm going to make a movie, because I've said that for so long, and it reminds me of a scripture that says that if a farmer is constantly looking at the skies, waiting for the perfect weather, they're never going to plant. So if you're waiting for the perfect situation, the perfect circumstances to get involved and start pursuing your passions for filmmaking, or whatever it is for that matter,
Yeah.
if you're waiting for the perfect circumstances, the perfect tools, then you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
You got to get up, you got to stand up, you got to go from right where you are. And like you said, it's not going to be perfect, but you're learning, you're growing. And that's what I love about your creative collective, is because people can learn from each other. I've learned so much from you, man.
Yeah.
And just a short amount of time, nobody knows everything. And when we gain little bits and pieces from each other, man, that can just blossom.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the great thing. Yeah, it is about networking and getting together with like-minded people. That's
Right.
always great to be encouraging. I mean, like
Yeah.
when you and I are sitting here talking, it is called unscripted, and it totally is. We don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to run with it. And
Yeah.
apologies, maybe. But, it's fun. And the thing is when you're passionate about something,
Right.
it's exciting to see
Yeah.
what happens. So, as a matter of fact, just as we close here, there's something new here in front of us. We did lapel mics last time.
Yep.
This time we've got this dead cat tail here.
Yeah, with a
And,
boom.
we stuck it in camera just on purpose, and we're doing more. And
Yeah.
by the way, our next episode, don't forget, we're going to talk more about technical stuff. So,
Right.
Yeah.
We added a camera.
We added 2 cameras.
We added 2 cameras, and we trying to show you what it is that we're doing as we grow and learn and evolve and bring in new things, new features.
And we're doing what we can with what we have.
Yeah, and we love it. And that's the coolest thing. If you love doing this kind of stuff, get up, get moving, start getting involved, and we want to be a part of that with you, because there's a bright
get
future.
connected with us. So can't wait. And we'll see you at the next episode. All right.
All right, rock and roll.